Hey guys, back here for another knife review. Now I promise I'm almost done. I really am. But I think that I really have to do this knife here. I really have to check it out because it's a classic. Today we're going to talk about the M9 Bayonet. The M9 Bayonet, I mean, this is truly a classic. They were made by several different companies, including the Phrobis company. They were also made by Buck Knives, LanCay company, as well as Ontario Knife Company. The M9 Bayonet has a 7-inch blade and the overall length is 12 inches. And as far as I can tell, it's about a 1/4 inch thick. I don't believe that this has a full tang, however. As you can see, we have a clip point blade. It is a plain edge and it has a saw back. The hole on the front of the blade, used in conjunction with this right here, makes a wire cutter, and it'll actually cut some pretty decent wire. The sheath looks to be some sort of reinforced nylon or reinforced plastic, and it has a lot of canvas strapping on there to hold it all in place, and it is made by the Bianchi company. It also has a nice pouch on the front for a magazine. Now, as far as price goes, you can find it anywhere from about $15 all the way up to about $120. Now, I would stay away from the $15 ones. This knife has been faked so many times, it's almost ridiculous. You can find it just about anywhere, and everybody has their own version of it. Now, I'm proud to say that this is one of the original. This is made by the Phrobis company. They called it the Phrobis 3. Anyway, guys, let's get on with the tests. Alright, so let's try it out with some parachute cord first. So we got a pretty decent cut out of it. Not bad at all. And now let's see how it does on the leather. Right. So I don't know if you can see that, but we got a pretty good cut out of it. It has a nice edge on that knife right now. Now, I've actually owned this knife for over 20 years. And I won't say that this is how the edge came from the factory, because it definitely was not. It did take some sharpening, but it holds its edge fairly decently. But we're going to test that now anyway. So let's get to chopping some stuff, shall we? So as far as kindling goes, seems to do just fine. And if you need to get some smaller stuff, some tinder size pieces, it does great for that too. Let's be honest, we want to see how this thing chops. You can see it chops as to be expected for a fairly heavy knife. And let's see how it held up in the edge department. If anything, it was actually easier. So now let's see if it can still cut through the leather as easily as it did last time. Now we're just going to use this piece here, I think. It seems to be doing just fine. Alright, so some of the things I like about this knife: it's got some good heft to it. It's a pretty heavy knife. It chops really well. It also seems to hold its edge pretty good. And the sheath, it's got some really good retention, and it seems well thought out, and it's really put together quite well. Now, as far as the bad things, really, well, I'm not sure that this has a full tang, and if it doesn't, then I'm not really fond of that. It seems to hold up really well. I've had it for 20 years after all. It's taken quite a beating over that time. And probably my biggest complaint is, well, it's all the fakes out there. There are so many forgeries of this knife, it's hard to say whether you're going to get something with some good quality. I would stick with one of the 4 original makers of this knife, one of the 4 that had the contract with the military, and that is the Phrobis company, and that's the original. I don't even know if they're still in business, but you can still find the knives. Also Buck Knives, LanCay, and the Ontario Knife Company. I think if you stick with one of those, you should probably end up with something pretty decent. It proves that a classic knife like this is still a viable option as a survival knife. Till next time, guys, take care and be safe.